And if I get feedback from people's microphones, I'll normally mute you, but then feel free to unmute yourself when you need to. Okay, so it's not, I'm not trying to shut anybody up. I'm simply trying to manage some of the background noise when it comes in. So let me introduce myself as soon as I write down this person's name. My name is Arlen Brady. 30-second background on me. I spent 25 years in the world of manufacturing. Most of that time was spent in operations, engineering, logistics, all that kind of back of the house stuff. I worked for a major company that makes wire and cable, electrical wire and cable. So the fact that all of us have lights on at our house right now, a lot of that has to do with the cables that we ran. Let's see. Jose says he can't hear me. Can everybody else hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, everybody's good. So Jose, that's going to be on your end. Good. So at some point in my career with manufacturing, I decided that I was ready to start my own business. And I bought a Floor Coverings International franchise. Grew the franchise. I'm here in Columbia, South Carolina. Grew the franchise. We were very profitable. It was a great time in my life. Eventually, though, after hiring a bunch of design associates and scaling the business, I decided that, you know what, I really actually enjoy helping people get their business and their careers started. So I joined the corporate team specifically to help new franchisees and to help new design associates get started with the company. So I love it. I've been exactly where you guys are. I've been the new franchise owner that's trying to figure out, up from down in 1,000 different ways. I've been that design associate that's trying to figure out how to learn how to sell this stuff and how to make money doing it. I've been in your shoes, and I'm very, very happy to be where I am right now. So I'm going to ask you guys, we're going to do a quick, because we've got a big group. If you can give me 15 seconds on yourself. Who are you? Where are you? And what role do you play in the company? So, for example, I might say my name is Zuri Dueck, and I'm a franchise owner in Denver, Colorado, or something to that effect. Perfect. So for me, my name is Arlen Brady, and I am your trainer for the next few weeks. And I am physically in Columbia, South Carolina, but I work from I normally work from my home office, but I'm part of the team from Atlanta, Georgia. And let's see, Christine, let you get started.
Sure. Christine Wyatt. I'm in Northern Virginia, right outside of DC, and I'm a design associate.
And you work with Risa, right?
I do.
Yeah, I love it. I love Risa.
She loves it.
Jesus.
I'll let Zuri take himself off mute.
Hi, I'm
There he
Zuri
is.
Dweck, and Stephanie is my wife. We're a franchise owner currently in Mexico City, moving to Denver, Colorado.
Nice. And is Stephanie on somewhere? I thought I saw her.
Here.
Yes. All right, Stephanie, go ahead and introduce yourself too.
I'm Stephanie. I'm married with Suri and Denver, Colorado.
Nice, nice. All right, how about Robbie Robertson?
Robbie Robertson, Orlando, Florida, design associate. And my parents actually live right there in Augusta, not too far from
here. There you go. Not far at all. Good stuff. Chris in Tampa.
Hey guys, I'm Chris Walagora. I'm a new franchise owner in West Pasco County, Florida, which is just north of Tampa Bay.
Nice. All right, let's see. Drew, you're gonna have to turn your camera off and introduce yourself. All right, I'm gonna.
Can you guys see me?
I can hear you.
Let's see. It says my video is on. Let's try this. What about now?
Oh, now we got you. Yep, now we got you.
Hey guys, my name is Drew Davis. My storefront location is located in Kernersville, North Carolina. I'll be
Nice,
working under Randy and Morty Hattenberg.
good stuff. All right, Brad, just up the street from Drew.
Hey, what's up, guys? Brad Curran, new franchise owner in Ash Vegas, aka Asheville, North Carolina.
Ash Vegas, I love it. All right, Josefina.
Hi, my name is Josefina Vedeta. I'm in new franchisee owner from Orlando, Florida.
Good, good, good. Let's see, Wendy and Courtney.
Hi, Wendy and Courtney. We're on the west coast of Southwest Seattle, and we're new franchise owners.
Nice. All right, how about Mauricio?
Hello, guys. My name is Mauricio Hernandez. I'm a DA from Western Florida.
And let's see, you're with Maria, is that right?
Yes.
Nice, 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 nice. Okay, good. Carrie Wright.
Hi, I'm Carrie Wright, and I'm a new design associate, and I work with Shauna and Reed Holden in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Nice, another Florida person. Good.
Yeah.
John Suarez.
Hey guys, my name is John Suarez. I'm a design associate for Liz and Dan Kaufman. They are located in Smont, Pennsylvania.
Right, just outside of Philly. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Sandra.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
We got you.
Oh, yeah. So I work with Jose and Jennifer Elias out of Sacramento, California. And I came from commercial cleaning where I bid for jobs. And so I was already using a laser measurement, measuring floors. And so I was familiar with it already. And I thought it'd be fun, just focus on floors.
Love it. I
More
love
creative.
it. All right, Isaac.
Thank you.
Hey, Isaac Phillips. I'm a franchise owner partnered with Patrick Daniel, who won't be on the call. He's in the air right now. I'm flying back home. But we're opening up 2 territories there in Pensacola and Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, how about Jason?
Jason Andler, franchise owner from Canton, Ohio.
Nice. Jonathan Hernandez.
Good afternoon, Jonathan Hernandez, San Antonio, Texas, with Team Alonso. I'm a new DA.
Nice, nice. How about Dylan?
Yes, can you hear me? My name is Dylan Wooten. I am out of the North Dallas office, Frisco in particular. I'm a design associate with Tammy and Daryl Paul.
Nice. All right, let's see. Alfredo.
Yeah, I go by Freddie Solorio. I'm a DA out of El Paso, Texas.
All right, so you're with Linda Leach.
I am.
Okay, let's see. And you go by Freddie?
Yes, sir, I do.
Just making a note here. Good. Let's see. I've got Renee.
Hi, my name is Renee Sloan, and I am in the San Antonio office as a new design associate.
What are you sitting back to back with Jonathan?
Yep. Well, he's in the next room.
I've been in that room. I know that room that you're in, Renee. I've been in that room before.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's see. How about Royce?
Hi, I'm Royce Hampston, new design associate in Frisco, Texas.
Nice. Okay, I'm getting down to the end of the list here. Who have I missed? Jose. I've missed Jose.
Hello, can you hear me?
I got you.
All right. I had to connect to my tablet because for some reason the audio on my computer is not working. But anyway, Jose Rangel out of Oak Brook, Illinois, branch owner Mike Gagliano.
Nice. Jose, did Mike show you the picture of the Ford that he parked behind when he took the van in for service the other day?
Yes, I was there with him.
Oh.
Yeah, beautiful car, beautiful car.
That's right. Yep. See if you can negotiate driving that instead.
Yeah, right.
Who else have I missed? Owen, introduce yourself.
Yeah, sorry to be a few minutes late. Owen Sullivan here, new franchise owner, Falls Church, Virginia.
Nice. And let's see, John Thompson, share your screen, share your voice with us, and introduce yourself.
Hey, yeah, John Thompson, new franchise owner in Tyler, Texas, which is East Texas. And I'm currently in the St. Louis airport waiting on delayed flights. So.
Oh, perfect.
Fun.
Perfect.
So if I pop off, Arlen, sorry.
Okay. Leanne.
Hi, I'm Leanne. I'm with the Somerset franchise, Somerset, New Jersey. Steve DiPolina. I'm his office manager right now. Going to be switching over to DA.
Nice.
Yeah.
And let's see, how about Kayla? Do I have Kayla or do I have Spencer or do I have both?
We're both here. I'm just on audio today, but we are from Twin Cities, Minnesota, and we are new franchise owners.
Nice, nice, nice. And how about Tatiana?
Yes, hi. Tatiana Turner. Me and my husband are new franchise owners out of Hampton Roads, Virginia area.
Beautiful. All right, now, did I miss anybody? If I did, take yourself off mute and yell out loud.
Linda Leach with Floor Coverings in El Paso. And Freddie is our new DA.
Nice. Thank you, Linda, for being here. Thank you for bringing Freddie. Oh, this cat. Okay. Good stuff. All right. So, what if I told you, this is not the right way to start training. What if I told you that today is going to be the worst day of training? I mean, but then they're all going to be better from here. Is that okay? Can we make that deal with one another? And the reason and what if I told you that this week, the homework that you do this week is going to be the worst week of all the weeks, but they're going to get better from here. Is that okay? Are we good? All right. So this is kind of like, if you ever have something that you just have to do, but you hate doing it, you always get that out of the way first so that you can get to the good stuff. Okay. That's been my philosophy. And so today, the reason that this is going to be so bad today is that you have to listen to my voice a lot today. There's a lot of, eat the frog. I love it. So you have to do this today. But after today, I promise you that it gets better. So it's a horrible way to start training, I know, but the reason that today is so bad is because I have a lot of information that I have to give you today. And it means that I'm going to have to do a lot of talking. And that's not great for training, especially over Zoom, because it's so easy to get distracted on a bunch of other stuff. So I want to ask you this question as a way of kind of getting things started. And if you would, use the chat box to respond. So in the chat box, what are like the top 2 or 3 things that you're hoping to get out of this class? So maybe I don't want to bias the group. What are you hoping? What are you expecting to get out of this class? And just pop your answer in the chat box and we'll have some fun with that. So product knowledge and closing tips and how to sell and use the technology and technical stuff and selling stuff and understand the Floor Coverings International processes and all the sales process stuff. We're going to get to all of that, all of it. So let me show you, while you're continuing to type that stuff in, I want to kind of give you a picture of, well, what I'll say are my expectations. Let me just share my screen with you here. Okay, so a little bit about my expectations. It says ours, but let's face it, these are mine. So my expectations, one of the things about learning a new sales system, learning anything new, is you kind of have to put yourself out there, okay? If you're the type of person that gets on the Zoom call and then just sort of hides and never engages with it, you're really not going to get much out of this. It's just true. I want you to be engaged. Yes, we have a big class. I love a big class because when we've got a big class, there's a lot of opportunity for interaction, and I want you to take advantage of that interaction. So I want you to be focused when we're here. As best as possible, put the cell phones away if you can. I know that life happens and there's stuff going on, but the more you can be engaged in what we're doing, the better. The more you can be focused on what we're doing, the better. The more you can engage with one another. I'm going to ask you to attend the webinars. Yes, I'm going to try, okay, I'm going to try to record every one of them so that if there's an emergency or something, you can go back and watch it. But it's never as good in the recording. It just isn't. Because you don't have an opportunity to interrupt and ask questions and those things. Complete your homework. Yes, there is homework in this class. Complete the homework and get the homework done. Ask for help when you need help. If you get stuck on something, so let's say you're working on some homework and you get stuck on something, I don't want you to wait until the next Wednesday to ask a question. I want you to send a note right away and say, I have a question, I have a problem, what do I do here? Now, what I'm going to ask you to do, okay, I'm going to ask you to ask that question in a particular way. What I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to create a group for this class, and I'm going to send you the invitation. Now, some of the franchise owners, you're already in a group me, you're going to be in a bunch of different group me's. I'm going to send a group me out for this class. And I'm going to ask you to put your questions and stuff in that group me, because then when I answer the question for one, I might be answering the question for many. And it might be that you've already found the answer to that question. You can help answer some questions. So that'll be good too. In terms of etiquette, you know, I always ask that you keep yourself online, that we can see your cameras, that we can see your faces. If you don't have your camera on, it's really, really hard to interact. I mean, it's hard for me to interact with a bunch of black screens. It's also hard for each other to interact with one another. So keep your cameras on, be prepared, and be ready to share. And when I hear like background noise, like I'm getting right now, I try to find where it's coming from and I mute it. So if I mute you, I'm not trying to be ugly. I'm just trying to kill background noise. And then you can unmute yourself when you need to. Make sense? Good. Okay, what are we going to do today? I'm going to go through the scorecard. I'm going to go through a little bit about our customers. I'm not going to spend a ton of time there. I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about our brand, but where we're going to focus the bulk of our time is going to be around the Inspired Sales System. I want to give you a good overview of the Inspired Sales System. I also want to spend a little bit of time, not much, but a little bit of time talking about resources and tools. And we will take a quick look at homework review. And I need to do this from a standing position, so up we go. Good. Here we go. Let's dive in. Scorecard review. Yes, I keep score. I will, between today and next week, I will set up the scorecard for this class, but I want you to see what it looks like. So I'm just going to look at the scorecard for the class that's ahead of you, because I want you to see what we're going to do here. And the only reason I don't have it built yet for this class is because there's been several people that have been added right at the last minute. So no problem with that. We are going to have a scorecard that looks a lot like this. And I am tracking attendance. So you'll notice that there are some people that have 100% attendance. There's some people that have 75% attendance. What does that mean? Well, if you miss a class and you go back and watch the recording, if you send me a note later saying, hey, I went back and watched the recording, I will give you 75% attendance credit. Okay, 100% is even better. You'll also notice that we're tracking the stuff that needs to be done in Floor U, and we'll go through that later today. Weeks 1 through 5, all the Salesforce stuff is being tracked, and for the design associates, we're tracking how many ride-alongs you're getting. So all that stuff, again, we're going to cover more of that later. But just so you know, yep, there is a scorecard, and I'm monitoring attendance. I'm looking at making sure that we're getting the floor use stuff done, and making sure that we're getting our ride-alongs done. Questions about the scorecard? I know it'll make more sense once I show you where all that stuff is coming from. Okay. What do you guys think? Who is our customer? Who do you think our customer is? Who do you
Homeowners. Anyone buying flooring?
Anybody that has a floor.
Yeah, anybody that's looking for a floor, right? Sometimes we get carried away in all the marketing stuff. Well, this specific demographic, they need to make this much money, whatever. No, at the end of the day, who our customer is somebody that needs a floor and is willing to pay for it. I mean, that's it, right? So we have something that we look at called the customer's journey. And when we think about the customer's journey, I'm going to do this really, really quick. There's a point in time when somebody becomes aware that they have a floor. And I know that sounds kind of silly to say, but somebody is, they're walking around in their house and they don't really pay attention to their carpet. They don't pay attention to the hardwood floors. They live in their house. But at some point, they have an awareness that there's something that's not quite right. I've got a stain on the carpet that I can't get out. I've got scratches in my hardwood floor. This color doesn't really talk to me anymore. Or maybe I just bought the house and it's not quite exactly what I want. And so the customer has a felt need, right? It's like, I feel the need to change this. And they make first contact with us. But that first contact might be through the call center. That first contact might be through, you meet them at a home show or an event. For all I know, you met them, you were running an appointment at one house and you gave the business card to the neighbor or whatever. But at some point, they made a first contact with us. Well, this awareness and felt need, first contact, those first 3 bullet points, that's really a lot of marketing. That's really where a lot of our marketing effort is spent, to get all the way to the first contact. Now you've got an appointment that gets booked on your calendar, and you go to the home to do the consultation. So for the next 5 weeks, that's where we're going to focus our time. Okay, this class is all about this consultation box. This is when you're going to the house, you're meeting with the customer, you're understanding what their needs are, and you're presenting them with a solution for their needs. That's all. I mean, literally, this whole training class is about this consultation. You sell the job, and then delivery, that doesn't mean just the material delivery. That means that you've actually delivered on all your promises. Go back to the home and confirm that everything was done exactly the way that it was supposed to be. And then we can talk about, how do you leave residual meaning with the customer so that when they're ready to do the next project, they call you directly. Okay? So this is kind of the customer's journey. And I start with this 40,000 foot view because I know that there's all sorts of other things in business that we have to talk about. But the point of this training class is to really dig into what does this consultation look like. Okay? So, quiz question for you. It's unfair because we haven't done anything yet, but that's okay. Why do people decide? So maybe you decided that you wanted to have your house painted. Maybe you decided that you wanted a new cell phone. Maybe you decided you wanted to buy a new car, or you wanted to add a deck to the back of your house. I don't know, whatever it is. Why do people decide to buy when they decide to buy? What drives somebody to make a buying decision? What do you think?
I think there's a tipping point with like a number of factors that kind of come into play. Like there's dissatisfaction combined with monetary opportunity, combined with maybe an event coming up, like summer's coming up, so you're really thinking about your deck. So I think it's a slow build and you reach a tipping point, and that tipping point is when the customer goes into action. Okay.
All right, so Wendy, just because you spoke up. All right, so you've decided that you're ready to put a deck on the back of the house. How do you decide what company that you're going to buy that deck from? How do you decide that this is who I'm going to write a check to?
Yeah, we're reviews, bids. You contemplate doing it yourself and you realize that it's way beyond your scope and you'd be a fool to do it. And And then just the whole presentation they give you when they're doing the bids. Do they inspire confidence? Do you get the shady feel from them? You know, are they bringing good information to the table?
Value.
Okay. All right.
Perceived
What else?
value.
Oh, it
Perceived
says
va-
perceived value. Good. What else?
Referrals.
Okay, referrals. What else? What makes you decide to buy, right? What drives that buying decision?
The price.
All right, Renee says the price. Good. What else?
Home
Relationship.
renovations,
All right, Carrie.
home renovations, or like we just had, you know, repairs due to hurricanes, you know,
Okay.
natural
All right,
disasters.
So you had repairs due to hurricanes. Are you in Florida?
Yeah,
Gotta be.
unfortunately, we did not, but I know a lot of people that have had to do that.
Okay, so they had to have repairs due to a storm, right? They didn't necessarily want to do these repairs, but now they have to do them. Okay,
Right.
But they still had a choice about who they went with.
Correct.
So what's the deciding factor? This is who I'm going to have do this work.
I think trust, price, if it's within their budget, definitely referrals.
Okay.
And the availability of the material that they desire.
Nice. Okay. So there are actually 4 key reasons that people make a buying decision. And the entire sales system is built around these 4 reasons. And these are not Floor Coverings International reasons. These are reasons from a national study that was done. There are 4 reasons that people make a buying decision. The number 1 reason that people choose to buy from who they choose to buy from is the person that they talk to. Now, maybe that's because of referrals. Maybe it's because this person has a great reputation. Maybe it's because this person really sounded like an expert. They really sounded like they knew what they were talking about. Whatever it is, they made a connection with that person. The number 1 reason that people make a buying decision is because of the person that they worked with. Now, it doesn't mean it's the only thing, but it is the number 1 most important reason. So what does that mean? That means that if Jonathan walks into a house and he pisses the homeowner off right at the very beginning, there ain't no way that they're buying from him. Too bad. Now, that doesn't mean that if Robbie walks into the house and people love him, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to buy from him, but at least he got check mark number 1 out of the way. Okay? The number 2 reason that people buy is simply because of the company. Now, that might have to do with the company's reputation. It might have to do with, you know, online reviews. It might have to do with, you know, neighborhood presence and, you know, everybody in my neighborhood Facebook page loves this particular company, whatever, right? It could be all that stuff. And I know some of you are sitting back thinking, I would never buy anything just because it was the name of the company. Oh, really? How many people camp out in front of an Apple store right before the new iPhone comes out like you're camping out for Taylor Swift tickets? Come on.
That's exactly what came to mind.
Right? I mean, come on. People do buy from the company. People will buy the next true iPhone people will buy the next iPhone even if they don't know what it does. It's the next iPhone. Good. All right? And which leads me to the third point. People buy because of the product. Now, maybe that's your favorite car. You know, one day I keep saying I'm going to buy a Ferrari. Well, it's probably never going to happen. But, you know, I'd buy a Ferrari just because it said Ferrari. Even if the salesperson wasn't the best, even if the company wasn't the best, it's the product itself that I'm attracted to. Okay. Finally, and interestingly enough, this is, by the way, in the right order. It's not just that these are 4 random things in random order. No, this is the order that people actually make a buying decision. First and most important is the person. Second and most important is the company. Third and most important is a product. And then finally, yes, price is important, but it's actually the 4th thing on people's list. It is not the number 1 thing. Because if I go into a place and I believe that the person that's talking to me knows what they're talking about, and the company has a strong reputation, and they've got a really good product, and they stand behind their product, I'm willing to pay more for it. It doesn't have to be the lowest price. Now, I want to make sure I'm getting a good value, but it doesn't have to be the lowest price. Okay, so I want to think about this. When you walk up to a customer's home, you knock on the door, what is the percentage chance that you have of landing this sale? Well, you've got some people, I put them over here on the left, you've got some people that are going to buy from you almost no matter what. Okay? Now, I don't mean like you have carte blanche to do whatever you want to do. Let me put a qualifier around there here. If you are technically competent to give them a proposal, in other words, you can give them, somebody wants to put all brand new carpet in their house, and you can go into the house and you can put together a reasonable carpet proposal, right? It doesn't have to be the cheapest, it doesn't have to be the most expensive, but you actually know what you're talking about, that you've got some technical competence, and you can put together a reasonable proposal. And if you're nice and you connect with the customer, you have, these people are going to buy from you. You don't really have to work hard for them. And there's just some people that it's you know, it's like, anybody have some sales experience? I know some of you do, right? Right? So let's see, Carrie, you ever had that customer that you're like, I mean, I could have almost pooped on the front porch and they would have bought from me. I mean, you know, it's easy, right?
Yes.
Okay, maybe not.
Well, maybe
Right?
not to that extent, no.
Maybe not to that extent. Okay. I mean, look, I've got all my little signs around me. So, you know, I've got my little poo-poo sign. I've got everything right here. Okay. So that, you know, I get weird sometimes. All right.
Arlen, I'll give you an example. I have a customer that whenever it's the end of the quarter and I need money or I need to hit certain quotas, I call them and just say, hey, I need you to buy this.
There you go. That's it. Okay. I mean, and as long as you don't lose that person, you're in great shape, right? Okay. So I call this bucket, if just to summarize it, if you can smile and flip a price. In other words, if you're nice enough and you can put together a reasonable proposal, if you smile and can flip a price, what is the percentage of people that are just going to be easy sells? It's about 20%. There's about 20% of the people that you come in contact with that if you can simply smile and flip a price, you're going to land the sale. So 6 months from now, if we're talking and you're really, really struggling because you've got a 15% close rate, well, then we're going to find out what is it that you technically don't understand about putting a proposal together, or you're just not connecting with people. I mean, that's it. We don't have to get into the weeds on all kinds of tactics and stuff. You just need to be able to smile and flip a price to get to 20%. Okay? There's also a group of people over here, and it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how nice you are. It doesn't matter how low the price is. This group of people is never buying from you. We don't have time tonight for a bunch of stories, but one day I'll tell you the story about the customer that I went to, knocked on the door. I literally heard her kick the dog because I heard the thump and then I heard the yell at the housekeeper, kick the dog, open the door. What do you want? Okay, it doesn't matter what I do. There's no way I'm landing this sale. Doesn't matter. She's in a bad mood. She's not buying from anybody today. It doesn't matter how cheap this is. Okay, good. You got 20% over here that it doesn't matter what you do, you are never landing that sale. Okay, I'm fine with that. Here's a question. Do you need a sales system to land this 20%? No. Do you need do you want to design your sales system around trying to land this 20%? No. The whole reason to have a sales system is to try to capture this 60%. That's why we work hard. That's why we learn a sales process. That's why we make the sales system a discipline. And it is a discipline. It's a process. We do this so that we become the customer's choice. I don't need to work for these people. Okay, I don't want to get lazy, but I don't need to work for these people, and I don't want to waste my time trying to figure out a way to get this person. I really, really want to work to land these people because I know I'm going to get them anyway, and if I can get close to an 80% close rate, baby, I am gold. I'm ready to go. So how do we get there? How do we become our customer's choice? Well, a lot of it has to do with our brand. So when I say brand, what is that? What is a brand? Generically, what is a brand?
It's a recognizable name that you associate with a product or service.
Okay. Give me an example of one, Owen.
Titleist golf balls.
There you go. All right. And look, I'm not a golfer, and even I know what Titleist is. Right? Okay. Somebody give me another brand.
Nike.
Nike. Good. What do you know Nike for?
Shoes.
Okay. Shoes. But then you see Nike on bags, you see it on shirts, you see it on everything, right? I mean, it's all over the place. All right. It's a recognizable name. Okay. What's important about a brand?
Reputation.
Quality.
Reputation. Quality. What else?
Consistency.
Ooh, I like that word, consistency. All right. So let's see. I'm trying to remember. I will get this as we go through time. John, let's see. You're in Philadelphia, or I mean, in the Philly area.
Yep.
All right. John's in the Philly area. Wendy and Courtney are all the way out in Seattle. Wendy, does it bother you in the least what John does in Philadelphia? Do you care?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Well, I mean, if it's a big national brand, I'm going to associate whatever the reputation is there with what it is here.
So if I'm a customer here in South Carolina and I'm looking for a flooring company and I start looking at reviews online, and I see that there's a Floor Coverings International branch in San Antonio, Texas, and man, they do a great job. Do you think that's important to me?
Yep.
Yeah. And if I happen to come across a Floor Coverings International somewhere else and I hit that set of reviews and that doesn't look so good, is that important?
Yep.
I believe it is. Okay. So together, right, each one of us, not only do your actions impact your ability to make sales and your ability to make a career out of this and your ability to make money doing this and your ability to have happy customers for a long time, but your actions actually impact everybody else on this call and everybody else in the network. So consistency, thank you for bringing that out, John. Consistency is huge. All right, so let me share with you our vision as a company. Floor Coverings International as a vision. Our vision is in two parts. The first part is to provide the best in-home flooring experience in North America. The second part is to have 250 franchisees, at least, that average $2 million a year in sales. Okay, is it important to you? Let me get a couple of the design associates to pop up with this answer. Is it important to you that we are the best in-home flooring experience in North America?
Yes, of course.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Do you think it's easier to sell for a company that's got a 4.8 star national rating or a 3.2 star national rating?
4.8.
Yeah, all day long, right? Okay. So I think the first part of that we can have some agreement with. All right, again, for the design associates, does it really matter to you that there's 250 franchisees averaging $2 million a year in sales? I mean, does that really move the needle for you?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so Christine, you said yes. Why does that matter to you?
Because when you're talking the story, so I'm old and I've been selling for a long time. So when you're talking the story of your company, having that foundation behind you of, look at this is where we are and this is who we are, it makes a difference because clients do listen to that. They do want to see that we're grounded and we're stable. It's important.
Sure. Good. What other reason? Carrie, you popped up. What other reason?
Well, I think just having the trust and like consistency, like John said, these days Google reviews are everything. I mean, just going on the ride-alongs, everybody, when we ask, how did you hear about us? And I'd say 90% have said Google. And, that those ratings are a huge influence on not only getting leads, but having the backbone of the story and to sell to the customers.
Nice.
Well, brand consistency is a huge thing. So I love to always bring up this franchise. It's going to be a little funny, but Chick-fil-A. If I'm driving down the highway and I see, hey, on exit 58, there's a Chick-fil-A or McDonald's. The McDonald's, it might be okay, it might not, but I can guarantee you any Chick-fil-A that you stop at, you'll get the same service, the same quality, same thing every time. And everyone knows, it's once you build that reputation countrywide, it can benefit you from California to North Carolina.
Absolutely. I love it. Yep. So being big enough, right, so that we have name recognition. I mean, this is a very, very exciting time. I just tell you, this is a very exciting time to be joining the company because here within the last 6 months, we have finally gotten big enough that we actually have some TV spots that are airing in the Philadelphia area. Okay. Now we're not all over the country on TV yet, right? Because that's really, really expensive and we're not quite there yet. But for the first time ever, you're actually starting to see some TV spots. There was a young lady that worked for me in my business that worked home shows and stuff for me. When she graduated from college, she ended up going up to the Philadelphia area. She and I connected about 6 months ago, and she goes, when I was in South Carolina, I worked for you, and so I knew the name Floor Coverings International, but my gosh, you guys are everywhere up here. Well, there's mobile showrooms running around. There's stuff that's happening on TV. Anybody a hockey fan? Anybody watch the Flyers? Nobody.
Lightning fan down here.
All right. So if you happen to catch a Philadelphia Flyers game, you're going to see Floor Coverings International logo on the boards around the rink. It's just, look, we're getting to that volume now to where all these things start to become more and more possible. Who are we? Well, you look at our values, we absolutely deliver what we promise. So if you promise the customer that you're going to do something, you need to go through with it, right? Even in the small things. If I promise you that I'm going to send you some email or some file or whatever else, you got to help hold me accountable to it because I'm going to deliver what I promise. We're going to absolutely respect the individual. I don't care if I drive up to a $14 million mansion or if I pull up to a single wide mobile home in the middle of, whatever. I'm going to respect the individual in every appointment that I go to. Have pride in what you do. If there's ever a time that you can't proudly wear a Floor Coverings International shirt, there's a problem, right? And we need to address that problem because that probably has something to do with a recent job or whatever that we need to deal with. One of the things that makes this business really, really work is you're going to, everything's local. You're going to see your customers in the grocery store. Well, do you want to be that person that when you see your customer in the grocery store, you hide and go around the next aisle? Or do you actually want to go up and say hello to your customer because you recognize them in the grocery store? You will absolutely want to have pride in what you do. This next one is so important. Be open-minded to possibilities and practice continuous improvement. I know that as we go through this sales system, particularly those of you that have had a lot of sales experience, there's going to be things that are different. Embrace the differences, okay? This sales system does work. Embrace the differences and learn it. And engage in your community. So right now, you've been put into a community of people that you didn't know before. other franchisees, other design associates, people from around the country. We've got almost 30 people on this call. It's fantastic, the community that you've just been put a part of. So engage in that GroupMe, download the app, engage in the GroupMe, and you know, communicate with one another. Standards. I'm going to get into the inspired sale in a moment, so I'm really only going to touch the ones on the left here. We're going to be available when our customers need us, and when we show up, we're going to show up ready to go. Branded apparel, mobile showroom, we're going to be on time every time. Now, when it comes to the inspired sales system, why do we use the inspired sales system? What is it? Well, it is a single, unified, supported sales approach. And we do it for two reasons. We have a consistent sales approach for two reasons. One, we've already talked about being able to have a branded experience, a consistent brand experience across the country. But the second thing is that this is a repeatable and coachable system. So what do I mean by this? Let's say that Owen has his sales system in Virginia, and Renee's got her sales system in Texas, and Freddie's got his sales system in Arizona. Well, Renee gets stuck one day, and she's been a week and hasn't sold anything, and she's beating her head against the wall going, I don't know what to do now. So she calls up Drew and says, Drew, is there anything you can do to help me? Well, Drew doesn't know because Renee's doing something that nobody else is doing. How can I help you? But if we're doing the same thing, and all of a sudden Jonathan goes a week and he hasn't sold anything, and he calls Renee and says, Renee, what? I mean, because that's not that far of a call. I mean, it's, you know, look over your shoulder and says, look, I haven't been able to land anything in the last week. Now all of a sudden we can put together a little practice session. We can work with each other. Has anybody, especially those of you that have been in sales for a long time, does anybody actually practice sales? Now think about it. You practice sales. I mean, just like your best professional athletes, I don't care where they are, they still go to practice before you go to the game. Game day is when we actually go into the customer's house. You don't practice in the customer's house, you practice in the office. And then you go to the customer's house and you pick up a check. All right, so let's break down this inspired sales system. And I want to make this really, really simple, okay? Basic sales process. I'm going to ask you guys. You don't know anything about anything with the inspired sales system. We haven't even talked about the inspired sales system yet. We're just going to design a sales system from scratch. When you walk up to somebody's home, you knock on the door, let's get the pleasantries out of the way, business card or whatever else. What do you want to do with your customer when you walk in the front door?
Break the ice.
Break the ice. What do you mean by that?
Warm up.
Get them comfortable with you. You got to earn their trust.
All right, good.
Create rapport with the customer.
Yeah, the first thing I want to do is build rapport with the customer, okay? I do a lot of secret shopping, and I can tell you every flooring company that's come through my front door that I've done secret shopping with, they all do the same thing. You know what they do? I open the door, they all do the same thing. They all have the same starting line. You know what it is?
Show me the room.
It's show me the space that we're going to do. Let's go look at the project. There's no warm up. There's no rapport building. It's just straight up, show me the room that I need to measure. Okay, well, there's no effort whatsoever to meet me as a person, so let's just jump right into it. We're going to start things different. We're going to open the door and we're going to build a little bit of rapport with the customer, and we're just going to learn about them. Not the floor, not the project, but them as a person. Okay, now that I've had a chance to get to know them, now what do you think we need to do?
Identify the problem.
Yeah, now we need to understand what do we have today, right? What is the problem? and I want to understand what the customer is trying to do. Okay, so if the first step is all about I'm building rapport with the customer and just I'm learning about them, the second step is about learning about the project. So this is what you have today. This is what we're going to have to move out of the way. This is what we're going to have to, this is what the customer wants. This is what they want their new floor to look like and feel like and how they want it to last. Okay? All right, what's logical next? Now what do? We understand who the customer is. We understand what they want to do. What do we need to do?
Explain
Assess
how
the
we can meet their
situation.
needs.
All right, I got a couple of people at the same time. Well, we probably need to measure the job, right? This is where we're going to get out either a tape measure or a laser or some kind of measuring tool, and we're going to measure the job, okay? Good stuff. And once we finish measuring the job and we've gone out to the van and all that good stuff, we're going to explain who we are and what we do. What do you think? Is it important for people to know who we are? Yeah, it's probably important for people to understand how we're different than our competitors. Absolutely.
Hey,
Good.
Arlen.
Yeah.
Arlen, quick question. I guess I would have, I guess I would have thought you could possibly split the last two, right? So they've assessed, you're assessing their current, they've communicated their needs, right? You're assessing the situation, right? Then you go to measuring the job. Then you come back and explain who we are, what we do, or could you flip those?
Yep.
two? Okay.
No, so it'll make sense when we walk through the
Okay.
flow. It'll make sense.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we've explained who we are and what we do. What do you think? What else do we need to do?
Show the product.
Yeah. At some point, somebody wants to see a product, right? So at some point, now we're going to show the customer, hey, look, this is the carpet that we could do. This is the hardwood we could do. This would be a beautiful tile. Good. Seems like there's something missing. What else do we need to do?
Pre-close.
What do you mean by pre-close? I'm not opposed to it, but what do you mean?
Pre-close is overcoming any objections before they come up.
Okay. All right, so that sounds like we're kind of getting into some tactical stuff, right? I'm okay, we're good, but just keeping it at a high level. At some point, we kind of need to present the price to the customer, don't you think? So, and ask for the sale. Gosh, I know this sounds stupid, but how many times are you going to land the sale if you don't ask for it? Probably none.
20%.
So, well, maybe not even 20%. If you, I mean, look, even John said that he has to ask for the guy at the end of the quarter. Okay. Now, there's a couple other bullet points that I've got on here, like, you know, doing paperwork and follow up. But if we just focus on these first ones here, building rapport with the customer, figuring out what the customer needs are, measuring the job, explaining who we are and what we do, helping the customer pick out product and presenting price and asking for the sale. If I just strip the inspired sale down to the skeleton, just the spine, that is the inspired sale. Is that complicated? No. It's not complicated at all. And it flows extremely well. Now we start adding some meat and some other things to the bones, right? And I'm going to show you the way that we're going to train this. I'm going to show you how we're going to build this up. So we build rapport with the customer in two different ways. We have what's called a setup call, and we have the warm-up. Now, in the setup call, I'm going to take every element of the inspired sale, and I'm going to break it down into a beginner level, an intermediate level, and an advanced level. A setup call. At a beginner level, can I call a customer and introduce myself and introduce the company? I know that sounds really silly, right? Hi, my name is Arlen Brady. I'm with Floor Coverings International. Done. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. Okay? At a beginner level, can I explain whatever my COVID procedures are? If you have none, then you have none. If your COVID procedures are, this is what we're going to do, then that's what you've got. Okay, good. Can I confirm the date, the time, and the address? Can I set build some excitement around this appointment, right? If I can do those things, Congratulations, I have just done a setup call. That might not be a great setup call, but it's a setup call. Okay? At an intermediate level, now I can do some really fun stuff. I can find out if there's anybody else that needs to be present to have input into this. Okay? Now that's really important, but I consider that an intermediate skill. How about setting some expectations for the appointment? So I really do want to communicate to the customer that I'm probably going to be in the house for an hour and a half, but I need to say that using words that are agreeable to the customer, where it doesn't sound like, oh my gosh, you're going to drag this out for an hour and a half. Okay? So we're going to work on some of that. We're going to wordsmith that. And I want to find out who referred them to Floor Coverings International. At an advanced level, oh, we can do some really cool stuff. Like we can send a link to Google reviews, or we can send a link to the website with before and after pictures on it, right? And we can set that up during the setup call so that the customer knows that they're kind of going to get to know us ahead of time, right? It's an advanced tactic. So if you never send a link to Google reviews, does that mean you didn't do a setup call? No. As long as you cover the basics, the beginner stuff, you've done it. These are additional tactics that help make that setup call better. All right, how about in the warm-up? Can you build rapport with the customer? That's it, full stop. If you can at least build rapport with the customer, you're gold. But now at an intermediate level, I want to start dropping Easter eggs. Okay, what do I mean by an Easter egg? I'm putting some things out there that I'm going to use later. So I want to find out what objection is it that the customer has for buying today, because I'm going to deal with that later. I want to get information about the customer that I'm later going to use in the company story. So I'm just dropping little Easter eggs. I'm picking up hints, things that I'm going to use. At an advanced level, there's all sorts of tactics that we can do at an advanced level. If you're just doing the beginner level stuff, you're still doing the inspired sale. Okay, so don't ever let anybody tell you that just because you didn't get the transition questions asked that you're not doing the inspired sale. No, you're doing the inspired sale. If you're building rapport with the customer, you're doing it. You're just doing it at a beginner level. Good. At an intermediate level, you're getting better with the inspired sale. At an advanced level, you're getting great with it. And I would expect that your close rate and your average job size and all the relevant metrics are going to get better and better as you get better and better with the sales system.
Hey, Arlen, quick question on that. On the intermediate, anyone else need to be present? I've heard people say that they've had contractors recently that refuse to come unless both married, though both parties are there in a relationship. What is our stance on that?
We're going to dig into that next week.
Okay.
Yep. Good question, but we're going to dig into that next week. All right, so what does it mean to assess the current situation and determine the customer's needs? At a beginner level, can I figure out what the current flooring is and how it was installed? So can I walk into a home and say, this is an engineered hardwood floor and it was glued down? Or this is a tile floor and this is the way tile is installed, okay? So there's some technical stuff in this step. Can I identify what the subfloor is? Can I figure out what's going to have to be moved? In other words, what furniture has to be moved? Or if I'm in a bathroom, is there a toilet that's got to be moved, or a vanity or pedestal sink? Can I figure out the customer's likes and dislikes about their current floor? What do you love about this? What do you hate about this? Okay? And can I figure out what the customer wants their new floor to look like, feel like, and how they want it to last? In other words, at a beginner level, can I ask enough questions and can I dig information out of the customer well enough that I can walk out of the house and go to the van and pick a product that meets that customer's needs? So when I say leave the house, I don't mean drive away. I mean walk out the front door and go to the van. Okay? Intermediate level. Now I can start adding some other tactics like selling a reference list or expanding scope by asking about other projects. And at an advanced level, hey, I can do some price conditioning while I'm here. I can give the link to review sites and talk about the Better Business Bureau. So there's some neat tactics that I can tack onto this once I start getting good with this. Again, if you're just doing the beginner stuff, you're at least doing the inspired sale, but we can get better by adding some of these other tactics. What does it mean to measure the job or measure and price up the job? Well, at a beginner level, I can measure the space and I can create a floor plan. I can create multiple options, and when I go out to the van, I can pick 2 to 4 boards per option. So if I've put together 3 options, I could pick 2 to 4 boards for each one of those options. At an intermediate level, I can do something called an inspection video, and I can use that inspection video to drive some urgency. So that's a neat little tactic that we're going to learn. And at an advanced level, oh wow, there's some additional services, pricing strategies, and I can really make that inspection video pop by using different tools, right? And we'll get into those too.
So that's where
Explaining
the
who we are.
sorry,
Yep.
that's where the advance is where the upsell goes in then for additional services.
There's a lot. Well, there's some upsell that happens there for sure. But this is about expanding scope by adding other services. Maybe it's an area rug, but yeah, there's absolutely upsell that happens here. Okay. Explaining who we are and what we do. So steps 4 and 5 is the company story and the installation video. So at a beginner level, can I actually do the company story? Can I at least deliver the message on each slide? Can I put some transitions between the slides so that it doesn't feel like a PowerPoint presentation? It just feels much more natural, right? Can I present the installation video and then deliver all the slides after the installation video so that I'm giving the complete company story? If I can do that, that doesn't mean that your company story is good. It just means that I can do it. All right, beginner level. Intermediate level, oh, now it gets more fun because now I start personalizing the company story so that it really doesn't sound like a canned presentation. It sounds like I am tailoring my language to exactly what's important for this customer. And that's when it starts to get powerful. When I can start answering the question, what's in it for me, right? At an advanced level, now, oh, this really gets fun. When we can customize the company story, when we can employ price conditioning in the company story, there's so much that we can do, but we first have to learn it, right? You can't jump up here. You got to at least learn how to do it at the beginner level first. Helping the customer pick out products. Beginner level, at the very basics, I should be able to bring a sample board into the house. I should be able to bring a sample board into the house. I should be able to look, I should be able to look Leanne in the face and say, Leanne, I chose this product for you because you said this. Whatever that is, right? They said that it was important for something to be waterproof. They said it was important for something to be scratch-proof, scuff-proof, you know, whatever. I chose this because you said this. Use information from the product boards. So look, as of today, you don't have to be an expert at fabs. All these product boards have information on them. You just have to know where to look. There's so much information on the back of this carpet. I don't need to go to Google and I don't need to go to FloorU and learn all that stuff. Everything I need is right there. So can I at least learn what's on the back of the boards or learn how to read the back of the boards? Can I figure out how to meet the customer's needs for what they want it to look like and feel like and how they want it to last? And how about at an intermediate level, how do I make this better? Well, I get the customer to actually say, I love this. I absolutely love this. Can I use fabs to make it even better and make my presentation of the product even better? And at an advanced level, now I can do some really cool stuff like doing product demos or doing a subfloor build-up and make this really, really tactical. All right, pre-close. So let's see, it was Freddie that said something about pre-close. At a beginner level, we don't even bother with it, but at an intermediate level, we do have a pre-close question where we're dealing with a pre-close to make sure that when we show a price to the customer that we're going to be in a great position to get this done. And when we present price and ask for the sale, look at a beginner level, can you present price? Can you present payment options? Can you ask for the sale? At an intermediate level, oh, we've got some great tools that we're going to learn over the next few weeks. Some great closing tools, okay? The walk of life, how to negotiate payments, how to navigate payments. It's all sorts of good stuff that we're going to go through. At an advanced level, there's other tactics that we can use. All right. For the sake of time, I'm not going to go through the paperwork. I'm going to send these slides to you. You're more than welcome to read through these, post-close, follow up. There's all this good stuff that we're going to work through. At a beginner level, if you are at least covering the stuff that's marked as a beginner, you're doing the inspired sale. If you can get to the intermediate level, you're getting better with it. And at an advanced level, you're getting even better than that. And my experience has been, you probably will see at least a 10% improvement in close rate with each one of those. So if you happen to start with a 25% close rate, you'll probably end up at a 35% when you're getting better, and maybe a 45% when you get to the advanced stuff. And maybe even better than that. All right. I know that was a ton of information. On the one hand, I'm sorry, but on the other hand, I'm not sorry, because we needed to go through all that. It is not my goal to teach you guys to be beginners. I could teach you to be beginners in literally a couple of hours, and you're ready to go. Okay, there's nothing to teach there. It is my goal to move this class to the intermediate level. That's what I'm trying to do. And the advanced, no, there's no way that we can get to the advanced level in 5 weeks. It's just not possible. You're not going to be able to get here until you've been out in the field and you've had practice, and 6 months from now we can get back together and we can work on stuff. The goal of this class is to get everybody to an intermediate level. That's what I'm going to try to cover. So as I send the slides back and you go back and you look back through and you say, okay, what was beginner, what was intermediate, what was advanced? You basically have the curriculum right in front of you. I'm going to try to cover everything that's in the beginner and intermediate stuff. I am 100% convinced that sales is a skill that can be improved with technique and practice. All right, and if you're a graphical person, okay, and you like to see the big roadmap, some people like to see the big roadmap. All right, this is an eye chart. There's our roadmap. I'm not going through this on this call, okay? Nobody can read it anyway. Down here at the bottom, this is our basic level, this is our intermediate level, this is the advanced level, and you can look at this later and figure out, okay, these are all, you can check them off as we go through them, okay? We've got a lot of stuff to cover, but it's really not that complicated, all right? If I go back to what we did before, and I say, we're going to build rapport, we're going to assess the current situation, we're going to listen to the customer's needs, we're going to measure and estimate the job, educate them on who we are and what we do, help them pick product and flip price and ask for the sale. We all agreed that that's the basics of any good sales process, right? Okay. So if I simply translate that now into the inspired sale, we build rapport in the setup call and in step 1. In step 2, we assess the current situation. We listen to the customer's needs and we measure and estimate the job. Step 3, we go through and do an inspection video and we measure the job. Okay, so we've got a setup call, step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 4 and step 5 is our company story and our installation presentation. And here is where we're going to educate the customer on who we are and what we do. Helping pick product, no big secret, that's going to be step 6, our product presentation. You are going to see a little gap here. Flipping the price and asking for the sale, that's step 8. All right. Well, if we land the job or don't land the job, either way, this is the sales system. This is the sales part of the sales system. If you land the job, there's going to be paperwork that gets done, and we've got a little step called the post-close. What made you decide to buy from me today? And we'll talk about why we do that. But those are just logistics things after the sale. And whether you land the job or don't land the job, we can figure out what to do with follow-up. So the only thing that's really, there's sort of a gap here, and that's the pre-close. And the pre-close question, when we learn how to do that, that's purely a diagnostic question that's intended to help you figure out what the close is going to look like. Am I about to get into a great close, or am I going to have some difficulty in this close? So this is it. This is the inspired sale. Why does it work? It is customer focused. It is solution based. It identifies objections early. It's not about overcoming objections. It's about converting those objections. It validates customer choices. It is absolutely solution focused and customer focused. And the graphic that we're going to use over and over and over, you're going to get tired of seeing this graphic. This is the graphic that we're going to use over and over. There's your setup call, step 1, all the way through step 11. Now, here's your quiz question. What is the number one reason that people choose to buy? Anybody remember from like 40 minutes ago?
Person.
Yeah, look, the warm up, the inspection, that's all about the person. What's the number 2 reason that people buy?
Company.
Yep, that's where we're going to talk about the company. What's the number 3 reason that people buy?
Product.
There's your product. And the number 4 reason? Price. This sales system is specifically designed and sequenced according to those 4 things. And then, of course, you've got residual meaning at the end of it, okay? Now, we do measure things, okay? You want to get better, we're going to measure things. There is a competency assessment form. My job is to try to get you to a number 3, okay? Not a number 5. A number 5 means that you're a coach. You can take my job. That's great. You know what? I need the help. It's good. But that's not my role. That's not my job for this class. For this class, let's just get everybody to a 3. 3 means you're competent. It's good. And you're going to have an inspired sale competency assessment. So everything's listed on here. Setup call. Did you do the elements of the setup call? Warm up. Boom. Inspection. Good. It's straightforward. Every time we have a meeting, I'm going to send you a recap that's going to have certain files attached to it, and you're going to get a copy of this competency assessment every time I send you a recap. So it's going to be right there at your fingertips. Easy. All right, resources. What's available to you? Floor 11, Floor University, the IT website. Let's just briefly go through some of these. I'm not going to go into these in great detail today. Not necessarily because of time, but because we're going to end up spending a lot of time with them later. So all of you should have, with the exception of Freddie, because I haven't seen his credentials come through yet, but everybody else should have access to this already. This is Floor 11. When this loads, this is Floor 11. Now, when you log into Floor 11, your home page might look different than mine. That's okay. Over here on the left-hand side, if I come over here and pop out this menu, if I go to Dashboard and Library, there's a folder here, and again, your list is going to look a little different than mine. There's a folder here called the Franchise Owner's Manual. DAs, you have access to this too. So if I click on that, there's a whole bunch of stuff here, all right? Well, one thing that I want you to know right away is the Inspired Sale Training and Certification. So if I click on the Inspired Sale Training, this is going to be important because this is going to be part of your homework. Right here is the company story resources. And there's so much stuff out here. So you've got the Canadian version. I don't think we have any Canadians on this call. No. So we're going to drop down to the US version. There's a scripted version. You can download these. Here's a PDF scripted version. There's a PowerPoint version of it. So you can download this and you can see a script. I don't want you to memorize a script. I want you to learn what the importance is of each slide. You'll also find in the Franchise Owner's Manual, something that's really, really helpful is when you look at merchandising resources. Under merchandising resources, you've got all of our product partners. So here's my vendor partner support. And look, you've got everything from Ardex and Armstrong and Artistic Finishes. You've got Shaw, you've got StairTech, you've got all these different companies that are out there. And so like if you pick on one of them, I'll pick on Shaw. You've got, oh my gosh, you've got tile, mosaics, you've got tile, you've got, goodness gracious, Sean's been busy loading all sorts of tile stuff. You've got carpet stuff. You've got I mean, there's just document after document after document out here. Okay, so you already have access to this. The franchise owner's manual is just it truly is a big library full of stuff. And the two places that you're going to end up spending a lot of time is in the inspired sale training section and then in the merchandising section. The other system that you're going to spend a lot of time in is Floor U. So when I open up Floor U here, your sign-on is going to look just like mine, except you'll have your name at the top. All right, so here we go. You will have homework for next week. So when you log into Floor U, your homework for next week is to come here to with the section that says the Inspired Sale course, and between now and next Wednesday, complete everything that's in week 1. So I click on week 1. And I see that there's 48 lessons in week 1, and you're just going to work your way all the way down through them, one by one by one. And you'll notice that there's even some manual estimating exercises. Great. So just work your way through. You don't even need the tablet for that. You'll get to the tablet when you get down to the bottom here and you're loading InspireNet Mobile onto the tablet. So one of your homework assignments is going to be to go into week 1 and do everything that's in week 1. The other part of your homework is going to be to come over here to the Salesforce learning plan, and let's open that up. And inside of the Salesforce learning plan, Salesforce basic navigation, let's click on that. And we've got 8 more lessons to do. So Salesforce orientation, navigation records, et cetera, et cetera. I will tell you that you're going to want to do this on a laptop, not on your tablet. And I will tell you that it works best if you use Chrome as your browser. So if you have trouble and you're using Firefox, or I don't even think Internet Explorer is a thing anymore, whatever, but you definitely want to be set up with Chrome on your laptop to be able to do these. So that's Floor 1.1 and Floor U. Another resource that I will show you is the IT website, fciit.com. There's 2 I's there side by side, fciit.com. And this is going to be such a wonderful resource for you. This is where you're going to be able to find all sorts of good stuff, technology driven. So you find I'm having trouble with this, I'm having trouble with that, whatever. So let's just say I want to know how to load InspireNet Mobile. Okay. So let's just search for InspireNet Mobile. Oh, there it is. How to install InspireNet Mobile on your Samsung tablet. Good. All right. So I can click on that, and it takes me directly to, look, there's even a little YouTube video on how to do it. Good. So all of your technology questions, most of your technology questions, you're going to be able to answer right here on this website. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have access to live help. You do have access to live help. But it might be 11 o'clock at night and you're trying to get something done, and instead of waiting until the next day, just come out here and search for it, and the answer is probably out there for you. And again, that's fciit.com. The rest of these we're going to save until later. Good. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your homework for next week. I'm going to ask you to memorize. So this is the other piece of why this week is the worst week, because there's a lot of memorization this week, and this is the only week there's going to be a lot of memorization. But there's some foundation work that we need to get put in place. I'm going to ask you to memorize the step 1 word-for-word questions, to memorize the company story slide order, to go on ride-alongs and get reference list pictures. Now, these are the questions that I want you to memorize. Again, I'm sending you this slideshow after we're done. So, I mean, you can take a picture of the screen or something if you want to, but I am sending this to you. How long have you, these are the questions that I want you to memorize. How long have you been thinking about replacing your flooring? What made you decide to do it today? What made you decide to buy from me today? And oh, really, what makes you say that? And we're going to figure out next week how to use these. But if you'll just go ahead and commit these to memory, that would be very, very helpful. Eventually, I'll ask you to memorize this one and this one as well, but you don't have to memorize this for next week. These will come later. The ones for next week are truly the step 1 transition questions. The other thing that I'm going to ask you to do is learn the company story slide order. Now, I have found that people that come out of training with a really, really strong grasp of the company story are the ones that seem to do extremely well out of training. And so I take a fourfold approach to learning the company story. The first thing is I just want you to learn the order of the slides. Then for the next week, I'm going to ask you to put content, and the next week to put transitions between the slides, and then for the next week to really start to personalize it. So you have 4 weeks to learn the company story. Okay, this isn't something to do in 1 week. But for next week, I just want you to learn the order of the slides. All right, so how are we going to do that? This is the very first slide in the company story. And I call this the My Job slide. And the reason I call this the My Job slide is that when I present the company story to the customer, this is how we typically start this slide. The thing that I love most about my job is having an opportunity to meet people in their home and help just completely transform their space. Okay. You can embellish that however you want to. This is not a word for word thing. You might say, as a franchise owner, you know what? I made a big commitment to move to the US and to join an organization. And the reason I picked Floor Coverings International for me was because of this. Or you might say, again, as a franchise owner, you might say, you know what? I chose Floor Coverings International as a place to really build my retirement, as a place of building a business, because I was really impressed with whatever. You might be a design associate. You might pitch this a different way and say, you know what? I absolutely love my job. I chose Floor Coverings International because of this. Okay. This is 100%, the whole company story you're going to tailor to you. For next week, all I need you to be able to do is say, this is the My Job slide. You don't have to have a script for next week. Just be able to say, this is my job. Okay? What's the next slide in the company story? First Service Brands, or FSB for short. So what you may not realize is that Floor Coverings International is, there's a parent company called First Service Brands, and First Service Brands also owns California Closets and Paul Davis Restoration, CertaPro Painters. It's a bunch of companies that are in home improvement. It's a bunch of companies where service is the #1 thing. All right, that's all great information, but you don't need to know that for next week. All you need to know for next week is My Job FSB. Right, simple, right? You don't have to know all the details. Just know My Job FSB, rank. Right, well, what do I need to know about rank? Well, there's over 4,000 franchises in North America. And out of 4,000 franchises, Floor Coverings International has been ranked as number 154 out of 4,000, and we're ranked #1 in category. And so a lot of customers look at this and see that this gives them the good feeling that they know that we're not just a fly-by-night company. We're not here today, gone tomorrow. That we've been recognized by Entrepreneur Magazine as a top leading franchise in the nation. You don't need to know any of that for next week. What do you need to know for next week? You need to know My Job FSB rank. What is the next slide? Media. All right, well, there are media outlets like HGTV, Style Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, that when they do an article about flooring, they come to us and they use us as their expert source for home improvement. Our CEO has been on Fox Business. He's been on CNN Money. He's talked about this as an industry. Again, for next week, you don't need to know any of that. What do you need to know for next week? You need to be able to say, My Job FSB rank media, right? Without looking at anything. So no cheat sheets, no index cards. For next week, I'm going to say, okay, somebody give me the slides of the company story, and somebody's going to pop up and say, My Job, FSB, rank, media, map. Well, what do I mean by map? Well, we've we've got over 300,000 customers across the US and Canada. We're in over 150 locations. The really cool thing about Floor Coverings International as a franchise company, it means that there's local ownership. So this is a locally owned small business where you're going to see people in the grocery store, right? And you're going to get to know people in the community. And it's very much a community-driven business. But as a big company, we have access to all the products that all the big companies do. Okay? That's wonderful. You don't need to know that for next week. For next week, you need to know my job, FSB, rank, media, map, giving. So we are a company that believes in giving back. And so at a national level, we've got programs set up with Ronald McDonald House, with Habitat for Humanity, with St. Jude's. Locally, you guys are going to have your own things, right? And this is a great place when you're giving your company story locally to tell the customer, hey, you know, we're very involved with this, whatever it is, this pet shelter, with this women's shelter, with this, whatever it is, right? These are the things that really drive us. And this is one of the reasons that I decided to get involved with this company is because we're really, really connected to our communities. Great. Reviews. We got according to the slide, 4.7 out of 5 stars. This needs to be updated. We're at 4.8 now. Across all the social, all the medias, all the home advisors, Angie's List, Facebooks, you add them all together, we're at a 4.8 out of 5 stars. And this is really, really tough to do. You know, it takes only 5 people to have a bad experience for somebody to write a bad review, but it takes 30 people to have a great experience for one of them to write a review. So for us to be at a 4.8 out of 5 stars is phenomenal in the industry, okay? This is an industry where, you know, best in class is like 3-star. No, we're at 4.8. We are world class. For next week, you don't have to know that. What do you need to know for next week? For next week, you need to know my job, FSB, rank, media, map, giving, reviews, BBB. So I know for, you know, if you're less than, I don't know, 30 years old, the BBB maybe doesn't mean as much to you. But the Better Business Bureau did a study, and they found over 10.7 million complaints registered against home improvement and remodeling contractors. That's phenomenal. 10.7 million complaints. And one of the things that they found in their study was that 80% of the time, if a customer went with the lowest bid, they had a major problem getting their job finished. Never mind done well, just getting it done, right? I can't tell you how many houses I've walked into where the reason that I got called in was because it was another flooring contractor that either walked off the job or got halfway through the job and disappeared or whatever else. And they're asking us if we can come in and finish or fix. Okay. BBB, insurance. We are fully licensed and insured everywhere that we operate. Now, some states, that licensing is more robust than other states. That's okay. But we are absolutely fully licensed and insured everywhere that we are. And that's for the homeowner's protection. And we are 100% committed to training. And when it comes to training, I will tell you that flooring is changing so fast today. Flooring from today is so different than what it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. This is not your grandfather's hardwood floor. This is a very, very different industry. Here's an interesting statistic. People get really, really good at buying cars because on average, people trade their cars every 1.7 years. But flooring, people don't trade their floors, right? People only buy a floor once every 10 or 12 years. So people don't get good at buying flooring, but yet the industry changes very, very rapidly. So we have to stay up to date on training so that when we bring something into the home, that we know what we're talking about. Great stuff. You don't need to know all that for next week. What do you need to know for next week? My job, FSB, rank, media, map, giving, reviews, BBB, insurance, training, installation. Oh, there's so much to talk about here. And I'm not talking about the physical installation. I just mean managing it. So if you were to buy a floor from Home Depot, from Lowe's, from Lumber Liquidators, from Floor & Decor, I mean, if you were to buy a flooring project from one of these The person that you bought the floor from, do you think they know who the installer is? No, there's no way. All right, we know our installers. The installers are like part of our team. I've got installers, I kid you not, I've got an installer that lists my wife as his emergency contact on all of his insurance forms. I mean, it's just, it's like family, okay? And he's not family, but it's like family. We know, we vet our installers. We know our installers personally. So there's a consistency in making sure that things are done the right way. There's an installation video that goes into, hey, this is how things are installed. And then there's a choice slide. So how do you choose? You got big box stores, you got home, you got retail stores, you got some chuck in a truck that shows up, if you buy it, I'll put it in kind of thing. What's the right way to choose? Well, Floor Coverings International, we are #1 in the industry. And that's not me just spouting off stuff. According to Net Promoter Scores, we are absolutely considered the flooring experts. We offer a shop at home convenience, and we are absolutely ranked as #1. And one of the ways that we're ranked #1 is because we offer a custom product and a custom solution. We're not trying to cookie cutter every customer that we talk to. Good stuff. What do I need to know for next week? My job, FSB, rank, media, map, giving, reviews, BBB, insurance, training, installation video, choice, #1, custom, direct. What do I mean by direct? Well, a lot of big box stores and a lot of companies that you might buy flooring from, they go through wholesalers or they go through third parties in order to get stuff, and you sort of lose this, your order kind of gets lost along the way. With us, we deal directly with the manufacturers so that stuff doesn't get lost. We are absolutely straightforward with people, and when we bring a product to the door, we're bringing first quality products. So we're not trying to bring products into the home that we're liquidating, that we're not trying to bring seconds and all that stuff. And oftentimes, we're bringing in products that other companies just won't show you. It doesn't mean they can't get them, they just don't bother showing them. All right, so we're direct, quality, solution. So whether you're looking for a hardwood floor, you're looking for a vinyl floor, you're looking for a backsplash, we are the solution, and we just make it easy for people. We're honest and upfront with our pricing. We don't play a lot of games with pricing. All right, great. All good stuff. What do I need to know for next week? My job, FSB, rank, media, map, giving, reviews, BBB, insurance training, installation video, choice, #1, custom, direct, quality, solution, pricing, versus. How do we stand up against our competitors? Well, oftentimes when we present a price, we like to present not an estimate, we like to present a proposal. So I stand behind my proposal. My quoted price is my final price. A lot of times our competitors will offer an initial price, which is small, but then once they start the job, then they tack on all these extra fees. And it's extra for, when I say stairs, I don't mean like doing the stairs. I mean, we're going to charge you more because we have to carry stuff up the stairs. Or we're going to charge you extra for moving furniture. Even though the sign outside the store said the furniture was free, in the fine print, it said that the furniture was only free for the first 3 pieces, but you've got a house full of furniture that I got to move. So you realize that there's all these little games that get played in the industry. Oftentimes, the initial price looks small from a competitor, but then you realize that the competitor's price is actually a lot more expensive than what we would have been. And build it. So then we build the perfect floor. A lot of information there. Good. What do you need to know for next week? For next week, I'm going to ask you, the first thing that we do when we get on the call next week is I'm just going to say, okay, who's ready and who has memorized 21 things? And I would expect that you would be able to say, my job, FSB, ranked media map, giving reviews, BBB, insurance, training, installation video, choice number one, custom direct quality solution, pricing versus builder. And be able to roll through them. All right, now the reason for that, okay, now let's pull the curtain back. For a lot of people, going through this process of memorizing the order of the slides and then putting in the content and then putting in the transition, it is a great way of learning the company's story. If you learn it differently, that's great. Learn it differently, okay? I'm not that concerned about the method that you use to learn it. I want you to learn it, because I have found that there's two key things that really, really drive somebody's success out of the gate, and one of them is getting good at the company story. So I want you to devote some time towards learning the company story. I am not interested in you memorizing the script. I'm very interested in you being able to make the company story your own. The script is there for you to learn what's important about the slides. It is not there for you to try to memorize it. Questions about this?
No, pretty cut and dried.
Okay. Cool. Good stuff. All right. Week 1 homework. This is all the stuff that you're going to see in floor 1-1. I mean, in floor U. You're going to get through hazardous materials and asbestos and all kinds of good stuff. You're going to get through, you're going to record yourself doing a setup call. You're going to go through a bunch of stuff. So there's a ton of stuff that's there. I'm asking you to memorize the step 1 word for word questions, to memorize the company story slide order. Design associates, you're going on ride-alongs. Now, franchise owners, let me just say this. I have found that there's two things that really, really make a difference in how well design associates come out of training. One is whether or not they get the company story nailed, and the second one is whether or not we've really been committed to doing ride-alongs. Well, what about a franchise owner? How can a franchise owner do ride-alongs? Find a franchisee that's close to you and go do ride-alongs with them. And even if that means it's a 4-hour drive, I'd take the drive and go do it. I'd set aside a couple of days and I'd go do ride-alongs with people. And it's not because you're going to see a perfect inspired sales system. It's because you're going to see people's houses, and you're going to see technical things, and you're going to see how people are solving problems for customers. To that end, well, let me show you this, and well, no, let's do this. To that end, design associates. Every week, we are going to look at ride-alongs. You already have this document, but it will be in the recap, no problem. You're going to bounce over here to this January 2023 class. Everybody except Freddie is already in here. So look, here's Leanne. Leanne's already marking stuff. Here's Sandra. Sandra's already marking stuff. And when you guys land a job with your owner, hey, go ahead and highlight it. Like, let's celebrate that. Like, I look at the class that's finishing right now. Look at this, Jim Giordano. Bridget has done 43 ride-alongs. Wanda has done 65 ride-alongs. Now, just because Sarah only did 5, that doesn't mean Sarah's going to be a failure. No, but it does mean that she's working from a defensive position. She's got catch-up work to do. Janelle, look at this, fantastic, 61 ride-alongs. So this means that Janelle has been in a home with Tammy 61 times. That's 61 opportunities for her to see how things are being done. Okay? Sarah has had 5. So that's 5 opportunities. So if somebody hands Sarah the keys to the van next week, she just doesn't have as much experience being in the home as somebody else. All right? I'm asking you guys, design associate, as you do your ride-alongs, mark them in here. You guys are going to have a link to this. All you got to do is come in here and type in the date of the ride-along and the customer name. That simple. Franchise owners, I don't track this, but for your sake, the more ride-alongs that you can do with other franchisees, the better. Okay. I promise. Next week, meeting time is a little different than today. We will meet from 1:30 to 3:30 Eastern time. And my expectations are that you've got the transition questions memorized. That was that section of questions that I showed you. The company story slide order is memorized. And go ahead and practice doing setup calls and doing warm-up, step 1 and step 2. If you miss today's call and you're watching this and you're looking for that 75% attendance credit, you watch through the recording and you get to this point and you say, okay, Arlen, I actually did watch the recording. You send me an email that says I watched the recording, I got to the end, and the code word for today was Kelly's Wellies. Then I can at least give you the 75% credit. Cool? You guys don't need Kelly's Wellies, you're already here. All right.
Arlen, can you remind me, what's the minimum requirement for ride-alongs again for new DAs?
DAs should have 25 ride-alongs by the time we get finished with this class.
Okay.
Other questions? All right, so I promised you that today was going to be the worst, and it is, because it's me talking too much. There's a lot of information that I just need to put in your laps, put in your heads. You may end up going back and rewatching some of this. For sure, I'm sending you the slides from today so that you've got all the notes, you've got everything there, no problem whatsoever. I'm going to send you the group me so that you can start to connect with one another. And as you have questions, problems, issues, whatever, please post that stuff in the group me so that we're all there together. That's helpful because I guarantee if one person has the question, there's 6 other people that are going to have the same question. So that's going to be a helpful way of doing things. I will, let's see.
Arlen?
Yes.
Arlen? Yeah. Can I access floor 11 from the main website of floor coverings, or?
You can get to it from Salesforce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can get to it from Salesforce somewhere. If I go into Salesforce and I go to the important links tab all the way at the bottom, then yes, you can get to floor 11 from and floor U from Salesforce.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Good. Any other questions? Nope. All right, team. Well, I look forward, some of you I'll see tomorrow, but for everybody else, I will see you next Wednesday. I'm looking forward to working with you guys. I'm very excited to have a class this size. This is going to be a lot of fun together. Good. You guys have a good evening.
Great. You too.
Thank you, Arlen. Have a good night.
Who knows?
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.